All right, picture this for a second. You've got two people who pull in the exact same amount of money every single month, literally down to the dollar. Now, one might be on a steady salary, the other might be hustling for daily commissions, but the bottom line is identical. So fast forward 5 years. One of them is totally financially stable, they've got assets, they're living with genuine freedom. The other, constantly broke, drowning in debt, and just completely trapped in this endless cycle of stress. So what actually happened there? Well, in this explainer, we are diving straight into the deep end of the psychology behind our daily spending and wealth building. And we're going to be pulling some incredibly powerful concepts directly from Muhammad Sodiq's book, The First Millionaire in Your Family.
You know, the question that absolutely haunts that second person is painfully simple. Where did all my money go? And look, whether you're a salaried worker, a freelancer constantly waiting on those project invoices, a daily wage earner, or a small business owner, making honest money honestly means nothing if you're constantly looking at your bank account asking where it all vanished to. The difference between our two people wasn't the amount of cash that hit their hands. It's entirely about what happened to that money the second after it arrived.
Okay, we need to shatter a massive illusion right out of the gate here. A higher income does not automatically equal wealth. It just doesn't. Income is literally just the raw material. That is it. The thing that actually creates wealth is the deliberate system you build around your money after you get paid. If you don't have a system for controlling the cash flow, you aren't building wealth, you're just moving cash through your hands and letting it slip right through your fingers.
See, the real enemy here isn't the math, it's our own behavior. We constantly fall into these invisible psychological traps. You've got emotional spending, the pressure to keep up with friends, the need for instant gratification, and of course that incredibly sneaky I deserve it mentality. You know, the one where we literally treat ourselves to an expensive iced coffee right into poverty? When we operate in this pure survival mindset, what the source material calls a poverty of purpose, money just leaks from our lives because we're using it to buy temporary quick relief instead of actual lasting freedom. We just upgrade our lifestyle instead of actually building a foundation.
I really want this to sink in. Your bank account is often a reflection of your habits way before it becomes a reflection of your income. At its core, this is a behavioral discipline problem. Think about it. If you can't intentionally manage $1,000, why in the world would $10,000 suddenly make you disciplined? You don't magically become wealthy the minute you start earning more. You become financially stronger when you figure out exactly what to do with the money you already make.
So let's look at a highly practical solution to start building up your defense against those psychological traps. Enter the 24-hour money rule. Think of this as an immediate psychological circuit breaker. When a significant chunk of money hits your account, do not spend a dime of it right away. Step 1. Pause. Give yourself a strict 24 to 48-hour cooling off period before you make any major discretionary purchases. Step 2. Record it. Step 3. Allocate it based on a plan. And only then, finally, step 4, you can spend.
But to actually make that rule stick, you've got to flip your entire paradigm. The old mindset goes something like, I'll just save whatever is left at the end of the month. And, well, we all know how that ends up. There is literally never anything left. The new mindset is entirely intentional. Pay your future before your lifestyle. You have to deliberately allocate that money before lifestyle inflation eats it alive. And remember, financial discipline is not self-punishment, it's just controlled allocation.
Which brings us nicely to Section 1, the structural solution, the 5 wealth accounts.
So this is where we transition from just understanding our psychological impulses to putting in the actual structural framework needed to override them. And the whole thing starts right here with the operating or necessities account. This is the landing pad. It's where your income drops first. Because before you can do any of the fun wealth building stuff, basic survival needs, housing, food, taxes, those have to be handled. Oh, and a massive, massive warning for any small business owners or freelancers watching this explainer. You absolutely must separate your business revenue from your personal pay. Revenue is not profit, and it is definitely not your personal salary. Keep those buckets completely distinct.
Moving right along, we have account 1, financial freedom. Now this is money whose one and only job is to buy your ultimate independence. Let me be clear, this is not a fund for a new car or a weekend getaway. This is strictly for acquiring income-producing assets, locking in long-term investments, and building productive business ownership. And look, even if you're starting out by putting away a tiny percentage, doing this consistently builds the psychological muscle you need to finally step out of survival mode and into a wealthy identity.
Now for account 2, long-term savings and opportunity. Please don't confuse this with the financial freedom account we just talked about. This account is your vital armor against life's inevitable surprises.
It's your emergency reserve and your stash for those planned large expenses. And honestly, if you're someone navigating an irregular or commission-based income, this cash buffer needs to be a bit thicker. It protects you during those low-earning months, so you don't panic and raid your freedom investments just to keep the lights on.
Okay, this next one is probably one of the most overlooked accounts out there: education and skill. Remember, you are your own most important economic asset. It's crazy, right? People will happily blow money on entertainment, but completely hesitate to invest $50 in their own earning capacity. The goal here is so simple. Knowledge transforms into skill, skill applied creates value, and that value is exactly what generates a higher income for you.
Now, speaking of entertainment, let's talk about account 4, play and enjoyment. Surprisingly, this segment actually gets a bit emotional for people because, listen, wealth building shouldn't become a punishment. If you never let yourself enjoy a single thing, your psychology is eventually going to snap and rebel against your entire financial plan. But there is a massive line between planned enjoyment and impulsive lifestyle inflation. Absolutely, enjoy your money, but your enjoyment should never, ever control your money.
And that brings us to our final wealth bucket, account 5, giving and contribution. This is all about intentional generosity, supporting your community, and helping out family. But the source text issues a really strong warning here that we have to pay attention to. We absolutely must distinguish between generous intentionality and financial people-pleasing. Trying to rescue everyone around you out of a sense of guilt, that can completely destroy your own financial foundation. Giving has to come from a place of intention, not obligation.
Now, you're probably sitting there wondering, okay, but what are the exact percentages I should be allocating? The truth is, there are no universal laws for the exact numbers. This is a totally adaptable framework. If you're currently in a low-income survival mode, your necessities and emergency stability have to take top priority, meaning your wealth allocations will start small. But as you shift into high-income mode, you scale up the investing, the tax planning, and the asset ownership. The whole beauty of the system is that it scales right along with you.
All right, let's move into section 2, the generational wealth legacy. So why do we actually do all this? Why fight our natural psychological impulses and build this rigid structure? It's to rewrite your bloodline's financial story forever. It's about breaking those stressful patterns that might have been passed down in your family for decades. This whole philosophy is anchored heavily in the book The First Millionaire in Your Family. And as the book points out, being the first millionaire in a family isn't just about being the first person to stack up $1 million in cash. The true first millionaire is simply the person who finally learns to think differently about money, managing and keeping what everyone else before them kept losing.
And we can see the tangible success of this mindset shift in real transformations across communities. We're seeing people step out of deep, generational financial struggle simply by applying a structured system. It really proves that greatness and wealth aren't just reserved for some privileged bloodline. They're entirely achievable for absolutely anyone who dares to see it, believe in it, and actually build a deliberate system around their income.
Ultimately, the goal is not simply to make money. The goal is to make money serve your future. Just imagine your next paycheck or your next daily wage arriving tomorrow. Before you watch this explainer, maybe every single dollar or naira that came in had only one destination: to be spent. But now every unit of money can have a specific mission. Some of it keeps you alive, some protects your future, some buys your actual freedom, and some makes you more valuable to the market. That is the exact moment money stops mysteriously disappearing and actually starts working for you.
So I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative challenge. What would happen if you actually followed this structured system for the next 5 years? What would your family's life look like if you mastered the psychology of your money instead of just merely earning it? Don't let this be just another explainer you watched and forgot about. Decide right now, what is the very first account you're going to go set up today? Let that be the start of your totally new legacy.